You know, the gun community doesn't agree on a lot, but one thing I think most of us agree on is that CCW badges are ridiculous, they're for wannabe posers, and no one else should buy one. Or should they? Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to talk about a little bit of a contentious subject, CCW badges. And I don't even know if I should say it's contentious because I think most people agree that they're stupid. That the only kind of people that would carry one are people who want people to think they're a cop or a detective when they're not. They're wannabes. People that have issues, quite frankly, those are the type of people that would carry them. And that actually carrying them is a bad idea for several reasons. And you know, I've always pretty much supported that idea. Whenever we've talked about CCW badges, I've been like, what a bunch of wannabes, what a bunch of losers, those things are stupid, no one should get one. But I want to take a second today and see if maybe I was a little narrow-minded. Maybe I just didn't have enough experiences to understand why they might be an okay idea in some circumstances, or maybe not. Like I said, that's what we want to talk about today. Well, recently I was open carrying, and I know a lot of people out there open carry. I open carry almost all the time, and a lot of you know that. Well, I was open carrying, and someone spotted me going into a store open carrying, and they called the police. Now, luckily, nothing happened because the police had half a brain, so they just called the store and said, is there a problem? Because I'm sure they asked the person who called, like, was he brandishing it? Was it just in a holster on his hip, etc.? So they called the store and said, is there a problem in there? And I didn't even know this until the next day when I went to return something I had bought there. When the manager said, you're the one they called us about yesterday. They probably called if the police knew what they were doing and said, hey, this is the police. If there's a problem there, say blank, 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 so that they wouldn't alert me if I was actually doing something wrong. But as I was saying, they called the police on me simply because they saw me carrying a gun. Now, that's something a lot of people worry about when they open carry, people who do open carry. And I think open carry should be more the norm. One, I think it would help prevent crimes, random violence, and also it would help, just get everybody else used to the idea that normal everyday people carry guns and that we don't go around shooting them or ourselves or anything else. We're relatively safe, responsible people. So I would love people to get more used to that idea, to where they don't panic when they see a gun. And I would like it to be where bad guys come into a convenience store and they're like, oh, there's 3 people in here carrying guns. I can't take out all of them. I'm going to get it somewhere else. So I would love that to be the norm. But like I said, when you're carrying, a lot of people worry, someone's going to call the police on me. And here's where I think maybe those badges can serve a purpose. Not the ones that you put in a wallet and put in your pocket. That's like, I'm going to flash my CCW badge. No, that's stupid. Don't ever do that. That is ridiculous. But, if you got one of those ones that like goes on your belt, maybe even the ones that hangs around your neck, but mostly the ones that goes on your belt that maybe you can mount on your holster or next to your holster, and you walk around open carrying, well, people who see you, they're going to say, it's probably a cop or a detective. And they're not going to think anything of it, just simply because there's a nice shiny little badge next to the gun that kind of counteracts it. They don't panic now. They don't SWAT you. They don't call the police, because even if they wanted to SWAT someone, they'd be like, well, guess what? That guy's probably a cop, and they're going to come get me, and I'm going to go to jail for filing a false report or something. So could they serve a purpose in that position? Could they, if you're someone who open carries, could having one of those CCW badges on there make a difference? Could it stop people that are just panicky or anti-gun from actually calling the police? And people who actually understand what's going on, they see, well, that's a CCW badge. Those people would be ones that would be like, okay, well, he's obviously got a CCW. He's just carrying. Those people aren't going to worry about it too much anyway, but it'd even be a little reassurance for them. So I'm just putting forward the idea today that maybe they're not as stupid as we've said they are, or that I've believed they are, or you've believed they are. Maybe they can serve a purpose in a place and time where I think people should be open carrying more. Do they make sense? Does it make sense to have that little badge next to your holster, maybe mounted on your holster, So when someone sees the gun, they also see badge, and those two things counteract each other in the minds of people that don't know what's going on. Now, it does kind of take away the whole getting people used to everyday people carrying a gun. That is one bad thing about it. But most of us wouldn't carry one. I wouldn't carry one. I'm willing to take a chance that someone's going to try to swat me. I'm a white, middle-aged man. I don't think I'm in a lot of danger. But someone else who wants to start open carrying, maybe that would be something that would make it a little easier, would make them feel safer. So maybe in those instances where someone's new to open carry, they don't want to get cops called on them, they don't want to take those risks, maybe those badges actually would do something. I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying I'm trying to have an open mind and try to think about it, because someone said something similar to this in my live chat the other night, and I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Maybe when I was open carrying into the store the other day in a certain area of town, if I'd have had that badge on my belt next to my gun, that person would not have called the police. Nothing bad happened, but there was potential for something bad to happen there. So would that badge make sense in that situation? Like I said, just trying to keep an open mind. So I want to hear from you all. Do you think that that's true? That if you were open carrying and those badges are carried visibly, it could make a difference and it could be a good idea? Or do you still think they're just stupid wannabe bullshit? Let me know in the comment section below, and come to the live chat tonight. We'll probably discuss it some there. There's a link in the upper corner of this video. Also, before I go, remember we're doing Toy Guns for Tots 2025. If you haven't donated yet, please go over and donate. Help make Christmas very merry for some kid wanting a toy gun, some in-need kid who are relying on charities for their toys. Most of them won't accept or distribute toy guns. We step in and take up the slack. So if you want to help with that, go on over to my website, tympistolproject.com. Donate over there, or like I said, come to the live chat. You can figure out there how to donate. I'll give you more information. But like I said, I want to know, what do you think? CCW badges, do they serve a purpose sometimes, or are they still just stupid wannabe crap? Please hit that like button and share this video on whatever social media you have. Since this is a restricted channel, you're the only chance we have to overcome YouTube's anti-2A bias and discrimination.